Homelessness is an epidemic.
In 2018, 2,112 people were without homes, and this number has only grown. Of those people, over half of them have no shelter at all and live in tents, cars, or even on sidewalks. Many of these encampments are unsanitary with no access to food and running water. They are unclean, unable to get a job, or anything greater. In 1 year alone, 69 homeless died.
Often, people experiencing chronic homelessness face significant challenges in finding and accepting shelter. Those challenges include traumatic or violent life experiences, not being able to safely store valuables, rules against staying with a significant other in shelter, and having to move between multiple shelters with no guaranteed bed at night. Further, there are even some barriers for the population in finding the resources and stabilities to secure housing.
But there is a solution. Transitional houses that allow people to get out of a bad situation and improve their lives by getting a job and moving into a real house. Tiny villages are cost effective, costing $204K to $528K to maintain, with the cheapest house prototype costing $2,400, and while costing only $90 a month to live in.
Tiny village residents can form meaningful relationships with people who have gone through similar experiences and can support and encourage each other. Tiny villages help families have a stable living environment while saving money to build a better future.
Drugs and alcohol are allowed, but not in public spaces. Being sober isn't required but must be on good behavior. Check in, sign in, and chores. Homeless families stay for a short period of time while caseworkers help them get back on their feet. Building a tiny house only costs $2,200. Volunteers help build, paint, and furnish the homes. Living in a tiny house allows people to work or going to school without having to worry about protecting their belongings.
Eventually, after the tiny village residents have had time to prosper, they are able to move to permanent housing where they can sustain themselves and live a successful and happy life. In urban areas, there is a large homeless population who have very little opportunity for moving off the streets and becoming self-sufficient. Tiny villages help working homeless people transition from the streets to eventually being able to live in a permanent home. Homeless people on the streets do not have a permanent address or have help with sobriety issues. In tiny villages, transitioning residents are able to have temporary home while receiving support and maintaining sobriety and a steady job. Residents have a clean living environment and are expected to contribute to the community.